be up and perform in something like this. And holy cheese, I was right. My stomach's tightening up, my palms are sweaty. I think my eyes are on fire for some reason. I really hope it's because I'm nervous. I don't want it to be anything else. Um, well, I didn't hear a thing you said. I didn't. Well, I was trying to get my name out by talking to some companies that I painted some buildings for. I was telling them if you guys had company parties, you're welcome to call me. If you guys, maybe if you guys have a little entertainment. The daughter of the owner whom I was talking to heard that last part. When I said entertainer, and she came up and immediately asked, "Are you a stripper?" And I was like, the boss and I were looking at each other confused and started laughing. We're like, "Sorry, no. I'm asking if you want some stand-up." And she just got embarrassed and immediately red-faced. But I think I can try that out. Who's heard of a comic giving a striptease? Maybe I think that'll get my name out one way or another. But yeah, I don't think I have the body for it. I don't want to scare anybody off. I did get slapped by a stripper one time. That was kind of cool. She thought I was stealing money from her. Excuse me. Obviously that was not the case. I don't know why I would take money from someone who's working their ass off in the most literal sense. I didn't. I worked things out with the manager. Things were okay. And I think another time we got in trouble. Obviously not our fault. A friend of mine kept going to the bathroom. He liked talking to people. He would go around. He'd be drinking out of his drink whenever I saw him, and then every time I went to talk to him again, he'd always have his drink full. So he knows how to talk to people. And because he kept going to the restroom, they thought he was dealing for some reason. And they came up to us, asked us, "Hey man, you can't be dealing around here." And we're like, "Hey man, we're just here trying to have a good time. We're just, more just being there rather than the show." And eventually we talked him down and he brought us a pitcher of beer, so that was cool. Ended up regretting that the next day. Went to work because we had gone to a restaurant that was trying to do an all-night deal, so we went there, got some enchiladas, good stuff. So got to work, stumbling around trying to get the restaurant up and going. Went to the restroom, let those enchiladas out, back where they came from. So that was. Now I had an empty stomach for the rest of the day. And while I was preparing some stuff, I was by the door where that leads to the kitchen, and I heard the boss confused talking to his wife, saying, "What's this with the enchiladas?" About the restroom. And it was early morning. It was only me, the boss, and his wife. And they came up to me and asked me, "Do you know what's going on?" And there was no way I could get away with it, but I still played dumb. I was like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And they were just confused, looking back and forth at one another. And yeah, there's no way that worked. But I was still drunk, so I figured, give it a shot. They wouldn't know what happened. They don't know that I'm still drunk on my ass. Let's see. Well, I didn't. Wasn't it much easier when we were younger? We didn't have so much things to worry about. Yeah. When we were in school, the only thing we had to worry about was getting our work done and not make asses of ourselves. Because I think middle school is when our reputation really gets concrete. One of the things you definitely don't want to happen is letting one out, especially when people are near. The best thing you can do is blame the person closest to you and try to play it off. And unfortunately, that was not the case for me. I was in art class, putting my paperwork up. The rest of the kids were more to the center of the room. I saw this kid passing me after he dropped off his work. And as I put my work down, it just came out. It surprised me. I didn't even know it was me at first. And I immediately turned around and saw the guy just staring at me. shocked, looking at me as if I shit on the floor or something. And I was like, okay, there's nobody near me, I can't blame anybody. The only thing that came to mind was grab this piece of paper and I just told him, man, that sounds way more real with doing it with the paper. He obviously didn't fall for it. He just walked away slowly. It didn't work out for me. Luckily, that was the last year in middle school, so I moved away from that town, came here for high school, totally unrelated reason. I didn't, when I was in school, in high school, they had some dressing up thing. I don't think it was for Halloween, but whatever I dressed up for as a cholo. If some of you don't know what that is, it's a Mexican gangster, I guess. I had I don't know how they allowed the bandana to go in, but I was wearing it. I had some shades. I didn't have a mustache yet, so I painted something on. Went the whole school day absent, apparently. They didn't know that I didn't have a new student, so that totally screwed up my perfect attendance. And it wasn't until the end of class, each class I had to tell the teacher, I had turned in my work and they had to tell them, hey, and it scared them, they didn't know it was me at all. So, yeah, too late, they counted me out and they couldn't do anything about it. Well, after graduation, you start, earning your money, working. I was working at I mentioned I was painting. So yeah, I painted buildings, and I also do taping and bedding, working with mud. We were doing this building freaking from 9 a.m. till 12 a.m. It was a rush job, and a coworker who wasn't used to long hours like that, by the end of the day, he had a rash. I think most guys would know what I'm talking about, have a rash between your balls and your thigh. So he was basically just cowboying his way to one place to another. And we told him, you're finally in Texas now. I just imagine him coming the next day with his hat, the boots, the hoister to hold his tools. And so, yeah, he was losing his mind from those long hours. A couple of days ago, I got together with some friends for lunch. I haven't seen them in a while. I haven't dated in a while, just focusing on keeping food in the fridge for family. So I was excited to tell them that I finally decided to ask a girl out. So we were sitting there talking, and in my head, the sentence was, I finally worked up the nerve to hit on a girl, and it pretty much went downhill from there, because what they actually heard was, I finally worked up the nerve to hit a girl. And they just stared at each other, and then stared back at me, confused. And it took me a second to realize, oh my God, and we were in a restaurant, so that probably got some attention too. And I had to tell them, hey man, what I meant was, I was trying to ask a girl out. Turns out she was actually married. So either way, it didn't work. I guess it's a good thing I didn't hit her either. Don't want her man coming after me. I've had a girl before I decided to be single for a while. She wanted to play dominoes to see who would be more dominant in I'll just let you imagine whatever after that. Well, the game was pretty fun, but I got too competitive after I lost, and I offered her a rematch, or offered more like demanded. And then she eventually just said, you know what, I don't even want to do this anymore. She just walks off. We were in the mood at first, and then, I ruined it because I got competitive. I didn't want to lose again. After a while, I have too much of a variety of what kind of woman I would like to be with. I like tall women somehow, for some reason. if I want to give her a kiss, then I want to be able to get a running start and do like a Mario jump, and she can just catch me. I also thought of maybe a muscular woman, pretty buff one. I want to be able to go to a grocery store and then we gotta just break off. Cover more ground. There we go. So my scenario would be, or I guess my dream would be to bump into some guys by accident, obviously. They would start trouble. And I'd be trying to talk about, like, hey, dude, I apologize, it was an accident. I'll make my way this way. And of course, they'd be shoving on me, telling me, some guys aren't as smart. They want to fight just because they do. And so they'd be picking on me. I'd see my girl coming out of the corner. Obviously, she'd be bigger than all three of us. And I want to be like, honey, they're picking on me. Can we do something about this? And I just, want her to show them, don't be starting fights. This is not right. And then she could just carry me out of the grocery store like a princess. A prince. Can a girl carry a guy like a prince? I don't know. But yeah, that's a dream of mine for some reason. There was a comedian that I follow who's on a podcast. On his podcast, he mentioned what the original meaning of a scapegoat is. Nowadays, you could consider somebody taking the fault for somebody. What he discovered was that what the scapegoat was that they would have a small village would have the priest basically have a small goat and wave his hand around over it and speak a bunch of gibberish and pretty much put into people's sins into that goat. And then they would take the poor thing to the edge of the city and just run it off, just yelling obscene things at it and throwing rocks at it. Apparently carrying the sins of the city, of the town. So now the place was cleansed. And so he would say, like, how can there not be one person there saying, this is so stupid, what the hell are we doing? So I got intrigued and I did my own research. I read into, in the old times, I think it was the Greece times that back in the old days, there was, they would have just the same, the head of the church, they would be they would choose a couple, traditionally man and woman, to represent the two genders. Yes, there are only two. They would have them have a feast as a bravery for their contribution. So they would have them parade around town, and people would be hitting them with sticks. And then by the time they got to the edge of the town where they would be off, they would also be, stoning them, throwing them a bunch of shit at them. And yeah, the city was now cleansed of its sins. But I don't know how the math works out. If every year they chose a new couple, eventually they're gonna run out of people. So I don't know how the hell they did that. I think they realized that they were like, guys, this is dumb, let's do something else. It's also kind of sad how some comedians have to apologize in between jokes just to make sure some people don't get offended or go online and post crap about them. If you can't take a joke, what are you doing at a show? If you want clean jokes, go to a church comedy show. I hear they're every Sunday morning, I think. So I think you'll, I don't know, I hope you don't get offended by that. If you do, I don't know what you're doing. If you go to a cosplay convention or if you're out on Halloween, if you see a guy dressed as Jesus, be nice. You have no idea if he's the real deal or not. You don't want to, make him mad and then he's like, oh, that guy's not going to make it. And, he's probably been hanging out since I think it was the mid-1800s, hanging out with the slutty nurses since who knows when. And so, yeah, I also read that Halloween back in the day, they would wear these crazy outfits. Basically, it was to ward off the spirits that were coming. They believed they were coming to the world in the Halloween times. I don't know how much that would work nowadays. I don't think a slutty nurse can scare off a ghost. Maybe a guy dressed as a hot dog chasing him down the street. Ghost be screaming, you know, what kind of place is this? I'm out. I think a hot dog suit would work more than a sexy nurse. Apologies on kind of stuff. Well, thank you guys. It was definitely fun. Yeah, let's give it up for